On this episode of the Perspective Podcast, I am joined by my cousin Chris Hall. On this episode here, we discussed early beginnings, family ties, being a alum of Peabody and Grambling, and also the importance of therapy and counseling, not just in the youth, but in adults today. We also discussed best practices, and we introduced this game called Tempo. This episode, it did go a bit long, so I broke this one up into two parts. So without further ado, this is Perspective with Cousin and Counselor Chico. This is episode 7, and without further ado, here we are.
Welcome to another episode of the Perspective Podcast. I am your host. I go by Mardy Lee, aka Marty Manziel. This is the Perspective Podcast episode number 7. Episode 7 right here. And we're going to call this one Perspective with Counselor Chico. And
Counselor Chico.
Yeah. Councilor Chico, that's what we got. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my cousin. This is going to be a very special episode tonight. I have one of my cousins here in the house tonight. I have Chico on the line with me. Chico, what's up?
What's good, cousin?
Yeah, man. Ain't too much, man. Just quarantine, I guess. That's the word.
Quarantine 2020. That's what we're going to call it.
Quarantine 2020. I love that right there. Well, I don't, but you get the vibe. So how you been? Man? I know it's been some things going on, but how you been doing?
Oh, I'm way better now compared to where I was. Yeah, so it's good. I'm tired of the quarantine, but I understand the quarantine, and it is needed. And I wish more people would take it serious, but hey, to each his own.
You can't make everybody believe, right?
Nope.
Yeah, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chico is a cousin of mine, first cousin of mine. Shit, as long as we've been rolling, you would think that we were a couple years apart, but nonetheless,
it's not a couple years, it's some years.
It's some years apart for sure. But nonetheless, we still gonna have a good time, and we gonna enjoy this episode here. So, Cousin Chico, also known as Cousin Chris, for the friends that do listen and know you for sure. This is Cousin Chris, aka Chico. Just give us a little introduction, man. Tell us about yourself, where you from, and then we'll get into some family ties here.
Okay. Well, born and raised Louisiana boy, so I moved around a lot when I was little, Mansfield, Opelousas, back to Alexandria, and then I went to Peabody. Everybody knows what Peabody is, hopefully. But after I graduated from Peabody, I went to Grambling, the greatest university in the United States, the Grambling State University, home of the Tigers. And so, while there, I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, which is the only fraternity in the nation, in the universe, and all others. So, yo, Noop. But, after graduating from Grambling, I moved to Houston, Texas, for 7 years. So, I worked out there for a while through juvenile probation, psychiatric facilities, group homes. What else I worked at? I think that was it. Then I moved back to Alexandria, which I think it wasn't my choice,
right?
But God works in mysterious ways. That's all I'm gonna say. God works in mysterious ways, and He has a hell of a sense of humor. Cause Lord, but unfortunately, I got laid off in Texas and was a little bit unemployed for a year and almost a half, and a blessing happened in Ellick. They offered me a job via phone. So I moved back home, and it was an adjustment, but hey, it's home.
That's right.
And thing about Alexandria is you can always adjust. I lived in the city. Now I'm back in the country city. So it have its moments. While back at home, I started my podcast 3 years ago. No, going on 4 now. Yeah, 4.
Yes, about
4 years ago. 4 years ago, Chico's Dose of Reality. It's come on Thursdays, on Facebook Live and on SoundCloud. Where we talk about relationships, dating, politics, and cultural issues between, different cultures, black, white, Asian, yada, yada. And we cover some myths on, what people think of black people, and we discuss, in depth what that really means and if it's true or not. Also been working in the counseling field for I've been working in mental health since 2005. Yeah, 2005. So anything with mental health, I'm pretty sure I can answer it to the best of my ability. If I don't know it, I can look it up. But no, our family, man, we clown, but we know when to take the clown off and be serious. And I appreciate all my family members. I just recently recovered from COVID. About a week. No. Yeah, it's been a week.
About a week. Yeah, it's
about a week. About a week. I was diagnosed positive back in June, I want to say the 18th. Yeah, June 18th, I think. So, people, if y'all think this a game, trust me and believe me, it wouldn't. The only thing I did not have was a fever and loss of taste and smell. I went through every one of the symptoms that they list. Other than the respiratory, I had a slight respiratory problem, but I didn't need to be hospitalized. But it is serious. It is I guess you can say disease. Yeah.
Disease. At this point, it is.
It is created or it is here to kill people. Unfortunately, I lost a homeboy of mine through COVID.
Rest in peace.
Also lost another friend with complications through COVID and other health problems. So, people, I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all don't take this serious and stop listening to number 45, because he don't know what the hell he's saying, and he just saying stuff just to be saying it, and don't have not one clue on what is actually going on because he delegates to his people. But anyway,
that's right. That's right. So, you did mention. Oh well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So no, you did mention that you had different parts of growing up throughout the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's Alexandria, it's Opelousas, Mansfield.
Yep.
Mansfield. And what was by far like your Peabody might have been like the funnest part, because that was more, high school, things of that nature, right? So that might have been the best time. Am I right? Or
it's kind of mixed, because I moved here in the middle of my sophomore year in high school. So growing up in Opelousas and moving from Opelousas, which is kind of like a southern part of Louisiana, and coming to the north central, it was a culture shock for a lot of people when I moved here. One reason was because I had an accent. Nobody understood what I was saying. So that accent broke, and I started talking from, you can tell it's a mixture between Alexandria and Opelousas accent that I have. So but when you make me mad, the Opelousas come out real quick, Shaq. So, to answer your question, it's a mixed feeling, because I like Peabody. I did. I enjoyed myself at Peabody. But I also liked Opelousas Senior High and East Junior High in Opelousas, because I grew up with those cats out there and females. And I knew them, and moving to LA, I only knew my family and whoever friends that was with your brother. So that's the only friends I had. So when I moved here in the middle of 10th grade year, most of my friends were seniors with your brother. So when they graduated, I had to start over again. I'm like, man, shit, out. What's your name, sir?
Yeah.
I'm starting from scratch again. So it was different. People did embrace me once, I got accepted, basically. After they got away with the accent, they kept on asking me, why you keep answering your question at the end of your question. I'm like, I don't know, Shay. You know?
I don't know, no.
But ROTC and drill team, they never saw that until I basically created it at Peabody. And it was uphill from that. So everybody was like, man, twirl the rifle, do it like you did before. I like, okay. And that's why a lot of people say you play as Kappa because you like to twirl shit. But anyway, it's not. But nah, Peabody is a good school. I wouldn't turn nobody away from going to Peabody. I will say Peabody ain't the same, but
it's definitely not. It's not even the same from whenever I graduated.
So it's totally different,
The band isn't the same.
Just man, don't even get me started on the band. Please don't start me on the band.
I'm sorry. That was a soft spot. My bad.
All 30 of them. But anyway, but
30 is right.
They getting a little better. They are getting a little better. I applaud the band director Lemons, from Grambling. But yeah, it still need to grow a little bit more. But
yeah, it's a process. It's one of those things that, peaks and valleys.
Yeah, you go from a 200 strong band to 30. Nah, that something ain't right.
Yeah, major difference. Some things have happened there in between, but so you definitely you did mention, graduating, being a Peabody alum. Then you move on. Then you move on to Graham, and then Graham is, oh my goodness, like everybody knows how.
Go ahead, express your experience, sir.
I'll give Graham they flowers. I'll give Graham they flowers.
If y'all didn't know, I had to bring my little cousin, to experience the Grambling homecoming experience. And all I'm going to say is, I had to find my little cousin because he got lost. I don't know where he went.
I was lost in a good place. Lost in a good place. The real good place.
Yeah, you was lost in a good place because I was sitting there like, where is this boy? We about to go to the game. He still ain't back here yet.
Shout out to Cousin DJ. Shout out to Cousin DJ and rest in peace, KD. We had a fantastic night that night, but that's one for the books that we'll keep off mic.
Yeah.
But Graham is one of those special places for those of you who have never been to Grambling State University. It's legit, like they say, in between the sticks. It's legit there in between the sticks. It's like this. I don't know. I was drunk for so long that to me it just looks like one giant street. But I know it's not one giant street. They have this amazing soul food spot around the corner. They have I don't know. It's just, if y'all have never been to Grambling homecoming, go for yourself. Go see it. Go experience it. Just go. Like you won't regret it. And so, I've always had love for Graham because, the majority of our family went to Graham, and Rick was the only one that went to Southern. And, so by you.
He couldn't make the right decision, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
He was guided the wrong way. Lord.
So by you classic Tom, in our family, it's real interesting. I went to UL, so I stay out of the way. So I mean, I got love for both.
Yeah, between you and your other cousin Nicole, y'all stayed neutral. Yeah,
I went to UL, so I can't really say too much. Shout out to them, to all them Lafayette times, man. Great times there. And so, going from Graham and you, of course you pledged Kappa up there, and what pushed you to the Kappa fraternity, brotherhood?
Well, while I was at Peabody, they had a program here with the alumni chapter in Alexandria, called the Kappa League, and it was a good program where they mentor, black males on how to be a man, how to think as a leader, leadership. So I had those brothers here in Alexandria always checking on me, always making sure I was straight. I have a god brother that was the pole mark, which is the president, that always made sure, when I came home, he checked on me and whatnot. It just showed me that they were about brotherhood. They were about making sure kids were taken care of, and the community was taken care of. Everybody does a community service in the fraternities, all in divine line, but the Kappas normally give more to the kid side than any other frat or sorority. So that was my passion, is to give back to kids, because some kids don't have a two-parent household, or some kids don't have a father figure in the home. Not saying that they were raised wrong and nothing like that, but I have not been proven wrong that every child wants a father figure. So that's what the easy part for me to choose. Then also, at Grambling, my line was the first line since 98, 99, and that was 2004 spring that we crossed. And they didn't have a line for some years, and so our line was the biggest line ever. So when we came back on the yard, because that's the fondest memory I have is my probate and going through the pledge process. Because at that present moment in time, you know, I was a senior, and you know, seniors got a lot on their plate the last two semesters. So
That's fair.
that was a rough time. So you know, when we came up back on the yard, you know, everybody, it felt like homecoming when we came back. It was so many people that they shut down the yard. Like they had to. There was that many people.
Yeah.
And we drove up in stretch limos coming out in our red Dickie jumpsuits, with our with our black boots, and that song that came on was Jay-Z and Changed Clothes, and we all just changed clothes, yanked that off, and we had suits underneath. So it was very memorable, you know, and my mother, my aunt, at that time my girlfriend, my ace, my best friend, and his friends came down, and it was live basically. But that was the longest probate ever. I could have sworn that. I could have sworn it lasted 2 hours.
I hate sitting through 12 people at probate, so I can't. You know what I'm saying? It's all love and it's fun, but geez,
it was 30 of us, so you can just imagine.
Yeah,
so
that's all day.
Graham is. I put it this way: if I can go back to Graham the age of 17, 18, I would go back, because that's how much fun I had. That's how much memories I had. It's just, Graham is, man, it's nothing like a HBCU. I'm sorry, PWIs, I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's nothing like a HBCU, because reason being, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but oh well. Suck it up.
Talk to people.
Nobody's going to take care of African Americans better than an HBCU.
Like y'all.
And I'm not playing the race game, but I'm just speaking truth. You know, it's a home away from home. That's the best terminology, metaphor I can give you, because if you didn't eat, if you did not eat for the day, you can always find somewhere to eat.
Always,
because anywhere. People around there made sure the students ate, the student was taken care of, nobody starved. It's just, you take care of home, and you know, of course, you got a couple of people, brothers and sisters, when they with each other a long period of time, yeah, they fight, they have beef, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna let nobody come on that campus and disrespect them and not say nothing. So that's why when homecoming come around, I have never missed a homecoming. I'm throwing that out there right now. I have never missed a homecoming. I only missed one Bayou Classic in my whole life. That's how much of a diehard Grambling I am, and diehard HBCU fan I am. I was so much in love with the HBCU that I got my master's from Prairie View A&M. So which is another HBCU, but in a different state. but it's HBCUs will take care of home. That's why I ain't instilling my students that, you know, they all want to go to LSU, McNeese, UL and ULM and all those schools. I'm like, okay, cool. Are they giving you scholarships? No, sir.
And that's something that I think about too. From time to time, I definitely I weigh my experiences, and I've been to Graham a couple times. Some has just been, you know, well, of course, the homecoming year that we went, I forgot what year that was. That might have been 2014. Yeah, that might have been 2014. And I think about my experiences at UL and shit, just being on I-10 for the majority of my adult life. Like from Lafayette to Baton Rouge, time in New Orleans, and back up. You know what I'm saying? Like back up to I even think about my times at NSU in Natchitoches.
Yep.
The experiences I had there. But what I can say is, to add to your point about HBCUs, is it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it on this planet. From the fashion to the jokes to the food to the women, Lord have mercy, to just the overall experience that you'll get at a HBCU, it's nothing like it. And I do think about it from time to time, like, damn, like if I didn't go to UL, I'm not even going front, I would have ended up in the sticks. I would have ended up right there in the sticks. But you know, y'all know the reason why I didn't go to Graham. I didn't want to be too close to Pops at that point in time. But
yeah, I know.
but so you
I almost sold you on TSU though.
Oh no, I was sold on TSU. Like for those that do not know, we came out here. This might have been like a couple years right before I graduated high school. This might have been like the year going into my junior year in high school. We came out here and he took me to TSU. Oh my God, just how the campus is set up at that time, and to me, it's only gotten better since I'm a resident of Houston now. And TSU and UH pretty much being directly across the street from each other,
which is trouble. But anyway,
which is trouble, and people don't know that. Like, you don't know that you actually in the hood, because people be like, "Yo, I'm about to go to UH," and then it's like, okay. But you know,
one street over, you in the hood, player.
Yeah. Watch your head. So, you know, you gotta. I definitely do think about it too. I was sold on TSU. Some things didn't work out for me to end up at TSU, but it's water under the bridge and shit. We still ended up in H-Town by the grace of God. So whenever you finished up at Graham, and what did you graduate in? Did you graduate with a, like, not grade point average or nothing like that, but your degree? Was it geared towards?
I was about to say, don't ask me my grade point average on this podcast.
No. We're not gonna call you to the cover like that. We're not gonna do that.
I graduated in leisure studies with a concentration in recreational therapy. Basically, working at a psych hospital, rehabilitating minds with board games and different games that you can create yourself. So basically, that's what recreational therapy was. So I did that field. Of course, you know, you change your mind a couple of times in college. Because at first I was going to school for physical therapy.
Sports medicine.
That's
right?
what I wanted.
Yeah.
So
sports medicine.
So I went there for that, and I was told at one point that I could do that and go get my master's in physical therapy. And, you know, we found out that we had to do some more prerequisites before they accepted me. And so it was after I graduated, I came back for a semester to see how would that be? How could I get that done? And I stayed for one semester really, and I left. Things didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but God works in mysterious ways and give you doors to open and just to put your foot through the door, and that's what happened. I got a phone call from a guy, which is a frat brother. Shout out to Patrick. He basically was like, "Hey, I heard you looking for a job." I was like, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "What exactly you want to do?" I was like, "Well, I'm graduating in recreational therapy, but I really wanted to do physical therapy, but things didn't work out, yada yada." He said, "Okay, let me ask this question, point blank. You want a job or not?" I like, excuse me? He said, okay.
Hell yes.
He like, aren't you part of the Crimson and Cream Brotherhood? I said, yes, sir, I am.
There you go.
He like, okay, when can you start? I said, excuse me? He said, well, basically, this is your first interview. You got a second interview in June. And then we'll want you here by July 4th. What?
Wow.
So I got a job basically off GP and selling myself over the phone. And also being a brother of Cat by the Side. So I moved to Houston. That's basically what happened. So when I first moved to Houston, that was oof. Well, I have never been.
That was right after Katrina, huh?
No, right before Katrina. That was before Katrina. I moved there. Katrina hit it in '05 of September. So yeah, I moved months before Katrina hit. So yeah, it was. I love Houston. I did. I still do. But no. Shout out to West Oaks Hospital off Hornwood.
Yeah. So like with getting that job there and, counseling and therapy and things of that nature, why do you feel like, two-part question here. Why do you feel like therapy in our community, the Black community, is overlooked? And the second part to that is, what do you think it takes to get more people into like therapy and counseling and, because mental health is important.
Yeah. Well, the way I feel about mental health in the Black community is this. It's frowned upon because, back in the day, the Black community always, your grandma, your great grandma, your mamas, your aunties always just say this phrase: what happens in this house stays in this house. Don't talk about what happened in this house at that school. Don't talk about what happened in this house anywhere. Yada yada. And it became an epidemic long before me, long before you. Mental health has been a problem in the Black community for years, but it is now being spotlighted. But it was frowned upon because you was instilled not to talk about what happened in the house. You was instilled not to speak of any ill will that happens in your life. And sometimes when they did tell their parents or their loved ones what was going on with them mentally, they tell them to brush it off and walk it off. Don't worry about it. Suck it up. It was instilled in our culture like that, and that's has been going. And all it has been doing is putting a Band-Aid on a internal bleeding problem for our community. And until we reach an understanding that mental health is real, is going to continue to be a problem. I want to give a shout out to the NFL, NBA, MLB, music stars and superstars, because they have put a flashlight on it, but have not done nothing else. Some have not done nothing else. Prime example, Kanye. Everybody know that boy has mental issues. But is anybody really literally helping him with his mental issues? I have yet to see anybody really help him in that endeavor, because, you know, I don't wish it on upon nobody. I don't wish it on anybody to go through what he's been through. You know, wires in his mouth, and lost his mama through plastic surgery.
Yeah, on the operation table.
On the operation table, and it was downhill from that for that brother. And I don't think anybody reached out to him. Mike Tyson.
Amongst other things for Kanye too, because it's like you got being a creative person, and not even just being a creative person, but just being a person. Period. Like we live in our heads 25/8.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So being a creative person, it kind of adds to the mental health troubles or issues.
Yeah, and the other thing that adds to it is, you know, your experiences in school. A lot of people hate to hear this and talk about it, but bullying is real. It can hurt or damage you mentally, especially if, you know, you don't tackle it or try to handle it yourself, because that's why a lot of the serial killings in schools happen. That's most likely what triggered it was bullying or, you know, mistreatment of young adults. Columbine happened. Sandy Hook happened. It's different things that triggered those kids to do that. So it wasn't just mental health. Yeah, it was the factor, but what the underlying factor was, they went through something that nobody seemed to care about, or try to help them fix it. We don't know what people go through at night. I'm gonna share a little story real quick. At the psychiatric hospital that I worked at, you know, we had kids. We had a kid unit, we had a adolescent unit, and we had an adult unit. When I tell you the stories that I heard from kids and those adolescents, I don't wish that upon nobody. It mentally fucked them up.
And sticks with you.
And it's not sticking with them. You created yourself through your child. So your child is going to do the same thing. You just recreating the cycle. So it was this one girl. This girl did not want to talk to no counselor, no nothing. She rebelled against all treatments. All she did was sit in the day room, and some of the nurses and techs just let them do it. Let her do it because they didn't want the hassle of her, you know, having a cold or an episode that they had to restrain and do other things to her. So one night I was like, man, I'm gonna talk to this girl. I'll make this girl laugh or something. But this girl, you can tell she was in that emo, goth stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, what's your favorite rock band? And she was like, excuse me? I said, what's your favorite rock band? And she told me. I said, man, that's not my favorite. She like, what's yours? And bingo, I found a loophole to get her to talk.
Yeah.
Something that she liked to talk about. Something that people did not want to talk to her about because they weren't interested in that lifestyle. It's not about you. And that's why I tell most teachers and most adults, it's not about you. It's not about your upbringing. It's not about what you want them to do. It's what they're interested in. It's, you gotta conform with time. And you can't do the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. You gotta do something different. And after talking with that girl and learning a little bit from her, yada, yada, the counselor was there late. And I didn't know that. And the counselor was like, did she just talk to you? I said, yeah, we talked for about 30, 45 minutes. How did you get her to talk? And I told her. And I was like, she's like, what did she talk about? I said, what I just told you about. So she was like, she won't talk to me. I said, well, you got to find a loophole. And I'm not a counselor. No, that's the part that pissed him off. I was not a counselor yet. I was just a rec therapist. I was supposed to have been gone from that unit. But I chose to make a difference in that child's life because nobody was trying to make a change to her. And come to find out, that girl had been raped numerous times.
Damn.
From her uncle to her mother raping her.
Bless.
So it is a lot of kids that go through a lot. I even had one that was came from a family that was spiritual, and basically her mother did not want her to talk to black boys. And
ain't that story familiar?
And she said that black boys were dogs and all they wanted you for was sex. And are you trying to be a hoe or a prostitute? And basically the girl was upset by that because those were her real friends, like for real. Black girls and black boys were her ace boon coons. And one day, you know, she was hanging out with the black crowd again on that corner, and mama found her. And later that night, mama basically put on a strap on and raped her daughter. And she was a virgin. She was a virgin.
Wow.
And basically kept on telling her, you want a nigger in your pussy. I got a black dildo. And basically, yeah, messed her up for a long time, for a long period of time. So, to go back to your question at hand, what can we do to enhance mental health? One thing about it is, I know a lot of white folks gonna hate me for saying this, but anyway, the defunding of the police department, the funds that they're talking about can help with mental health if you do it right. It's just, it's a systematic system. You just got to figure out the system and basically put those funds into some kind of program that'll be free for the community if they choose to come. And they got plenty of them at churches. You know, they got grief groups, and they got different type of groups. And I applaud people if they even go to a AA meeting just for the hell of it, because you can learn a lot from an AA or NA meeting. You don't have to be an addict. You can go and get some type of relief off your chest just by talking.
Yes.
And that's what black folks hate about. They don't want to talk about their problems. And by sheltering it and putting it on your chest, you're going to release it, but you may not release it in a positive way. I think that's why a lot of murders happen. I think that's why a lot of rapes happen. I think that's why a lot of domestic violence happen.
Physical crimes. Physical crimes is a result of that.
That's what the problem is. So yes, we have to tackle it in a certain way. Maybe instill into the schools from the defunded program to do an hour session with kids. Make the kids go to a social skills class to talk about different issues. Make that class a curriculum. To make kids talk about issues, that they feel is an issue for them. And I try to do that in all my schools, but hey, it takes so much time, so you might do one school, maybe two schools, but one school gonna fall off and not get that assistance. So it takes a lot.
And it's so much to do for one person, and especially whenever other schools or faculty members or just administration, just overall, and even school all the way up to the school boards, that they just don't believe in it. If they don't believe in it, it's hard to make a change when it's one person. It's one person fighting the battle, and it's one of those.
It's one of those, and it's not going to be tackled overnight. It's going to take time. So it's going to need somebody that's going to want to take that time and put in that effort to push it. And not that many people that want to push it. That's the problem.
And so what would you say would be your best practices? Like, for the people that do listen and, the people that do want to take up counseling or therapy or just a different form of stress relief, what would some of the best practices that you would recommend, like journaling, working out?
I recommend, everybody use Google. Everybody use Google for different things. Use Google to Google a counselor near you. The reason why I'm pushing that is because the first thing that I'm gonna say black folks, that's what I know. First thing black folks question is, who is he? Who is she? Where's she from? Does she know my people? Does she know such? They don't want to be judged. So the best practice is to Google counselors to see what counselors are near you and to look into it and to see if that person is even, because you want somebody neutral, because that's what a counselor is there for. We're not there to give you advice. We're there to just listen, and you basically come up with the answer for yourself. Now we'll guide you. We're supposed to facilitate you to that decision, but we're not there to make the decision for you. And that's what some people get confused. What I need a counselor to tell me how I feel. A counselor is not there to tell you how you're supposed to feel. The counselor there is to listen to how you feel, how did you get to that feeling, and where do we go from here?
Yes. And
that's what a counselor is supposed to do. A counselor is not supposed to tell you, oh, you shouldn't have sucked dick last night. You should have did this. No, a counselor is not supposed to do that. Where you put your mouth is where you put your mouth. That's your choice. So it's about making choices that best fits you and your lifestyle. So Google counselors near you. Read into it. Read into them. See what they specialty is. Some are specialized in depression. Some are specialized in ADHD. Some are specialized in suicidal thoughts and ideation. Some are specialized in sex education.
Yeah.
So it's different specialties that all these counselors have. And they can counsel still, but they have a better understanding of the specialty. So, but that's how I would tell them to do it. Don't wait till the last minute when you hit rock bottom, because once you hit rock bottom, it's hard to dig yourself out. Basically,
It is
to basically say, I don't want them to be hospitalized because they waited too long. Because when you get hospitalized, it's a lot in that 7 to 14 days. So that's what I would tell them, basically.
Yeah. That's just the truth. Like I'll share it. Like I just started therapy not too long ago. I started therapy maybe like 2 weeks ago, and that shit is fucking phenomenal. Like it's great. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a person that, one, it's a person that doesn't know you.
Exactly.
Two, it's a person that's just, this person has been through things in their life, and they get a chance to speak to you on all of whatever you choose to share in therapy. And I definitely recommend it. I definitely do recommend therapy for anybody. Male, female, trans, just whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just go seek therapy.
Let me clarify something. Now, there's a difference between therapy. A lot of people say they go to church for spiritual therapy. That's fine, cool, and copacetic, whatever you like. But that does not help mental health.
Yep.
You have to go through counseling, a therapy. Spiritual therapy that's what it is. It's about your spirit. It's about becoming closer to God, coming closer to your religion type therapy, which is good. I don't discredit it whatsoever, but there's a difference between everything. And that's what I want people to understand. Spiritual therapy and mental health therapy are totally different.
Yes.
And real rehabilitation therapy is different. It's different types of therapies. And if they remember what I was talking about, recreation therapy is a therapy. It's just different type of therapy and counseling sessions. So it's just, you got to know what you're going through. So it's best to research it and then make a decision. There are apps out there that you can download to your phone that will give you a quiz on your mental health and what kind of help you need. They give you examples of what you can do. They even offer online therapists to some of those apps. So there's ways to do therapy without making your head hurt. Basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's easy to get therapy. It's just if you want it.
Yeah. You have to be open to it.
And I tell this to everybody. You gotta want to change to let somebody help you change. I can want and you don't want to change it. So your therapy is basically bullshit. It's BS. So first thing you got to make a choice. Do you want to change the way you feel about yourself. You want to change the way you feel in the morning, feel in the afternoon, feel at night. You feel, all those things. You got to want to change that. And your therapist is not the one that is going to make you change. You're going to make the change by listening and talking about the issue.
All facts. All facts. And so this is the part of the show right here. That's really well said about therapy and counseling, because that is a good point. People, there's spiritual healing, like you said, and then there's mental healing, like you said. So, and I believe that all of us humans walking this planet, we've been through something that has either changed or warped or made us look at things different, or people different. And sometimes some of those memories and those episodes just stick with us for life. And so that's very well said, and I appreciate that for you spreading that word right there like that. And this part of the show right here, I'm introducing a brand new game. This is called. So you're going to be the guinea pig for this one. So.
Okay.
So this game here is called Tempo, and this is going to be a series of questions. Answer them, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the B block part of the show. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So first, we're going to start off with we'll start off with, if you had to build your Mount Rushmore and of people,
okay,
who would go on your Mount Rushmore?
And how many people can you pick?
Let's say 4. Let's say 4 people.
All right. Mine would be, okay, how would I put this? You got to go in a certain order. I can tell you whatever.
No, it could be anybody.
Okay, all right. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Obama, and who would be that last?
That fourth one tough. It's tough.
Who would be that last?
Yeah.
The last one, I would have to say, so I can be neutral, it'll have to be either, okay, I'm pick 2 people. Abraham Lincoln or JFK.
Okay. All right. Now, why JFK? Now that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that one.
JFK was one of the only presidents that understood what Martin Luther King was trying to do. And the reason why he was assassinated is because he was helping Martin Luther King accomplish that. So you have to applaud, because I know it's a difficult time right now. You know, everybody at odds. But the truth of the matter is, we can't accomplish anything separate. We're going to need a white person. I'm just saying, you're going to need white people.
Yeah, you need white people.
You need white people to help you with your cause. So he is a prime example, him and Abe Lincoln, a prime example of Caucasians that took the initiative to try to change the way the world was going.
Okay.
And that's why I picked those 2 as my last, because I want people to realize you still need white folks.
Absolutely.
Not saying you gotta, sell yourself out, but I don't want them to be dumbfounded and think that they can accomplish this just by ourselves. We can't. I'm sorry.
No, it's the truth.
Not gonna happen.
It's the truth. And so, okay, so we got that Mount Rushmore there. And what are your 3 pet peeves?
3 pet peeves. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, you put me on the spot there. My 3 pet peeves. One, okay. I'm gonna give them 3 areas. In my work area, my pet peeve is a kid not talking. And what I mean by that is, if I'm trying to help you and your mouth is shut and you don't want to talk, that irks the hell out of me.
Yeah, because you here to help.
I'm here to help, but you just quiet. Then another pet peeve is the word snitches. I'm not snitching. Like what? That's a pet peeve of mine. I know I'm the one to tell because we used to tell you when you was little. Don't you tell your mama what we did. But fact of the matter is, what I'm talking about snitching is.
You heard me pause, right? Like.
Yeah, I know. I had to correct myself. Okay, there's a difference between tattletelling and snitching.
And snitching. Yeah.
It's totally different. It's totally different. Snitching, I just can't stand it when a kid or adult say, "Man, I ain't snitching, man. I ain't no snitch." So you gonna do a dub for another nigga that you wasn't even at the place. So you just not gonna say nothing, but you know who did it. Shit, don't do nothing around me.
Yeah.
I am a snitching. Cause I ain't going to jail for you. I'm sorry. Then the last pet peeve is I'm gonna do a dating one. One pet peeve with dating is this. When you are mad, tell me you mad.
Yeah.
Don't hold it in, and then later on be like, I was mad at you early on. No, I didn't. I don't read riddles. I don't know I'm not a mind reader.
That's not me.
Say something. But yeah, I hate it when
I can't say nothing unless you. I can't fix nothing unless you help me fix
it. Exactly. I don't know what you mad at.
Yeah. All right. And so, okay. Those are good. Those are good right there. And then, so if you had a destination city, like place that's on your bucket list to go to, what is the city or the country?
It's Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never been there. I always wanted to go there. Well, there's 2 different destinations I wanted to go. I've never been. There's Jamaica, and then there's Italy. I always wanted to go to Italy. I don't know what part of Italy, but damn it, I want to go to Italy.
Right. Straight up. All right. And then, so what is your motivation? Like, what keeps you going every day to just keep pushing? Like, what is it? Like, does your motivation ever change?
Yeah, your motivation should change. Your motivation should change at least every year or every other year. If not sooner. So my motivation right now is basically to leave a mark in this world that I helped somebody through something. That's my motivation. It's not always about you. It's if you can help. If I can help 1 out of 25 people that I talk to, I accomplish my goal for the day.
That's hard.
You got to do one by one. And if you think you're gonna change the world just because you said you're gonna change the world, brother, sister, you got another thing coming, because it takes a lot more work ethic to get it done than what you think. And the other motivation is my family. I'm very family oriented. People that know me, some of my friends have been adopted into the damn family. So when I say family, is if I have that respect for you to call you family.
Yeah, everybody don't get that title.
Everybody don't get that title, and so
everybody can't pull up on the holidays. I promise everybody cannot.
I'm telling you, I'm putting it out there right now. Don't y'all pop up at the Hall residence thinking y'all gonna eat some Thanksgiving turkey.
At any of them, and especially if I ain't seen you in the past 2-3 years. If I ain't seen you right there at the corner of Jones Street, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't never seen you there, and we got a lot of new family members all of a sudden. But I think we both know why. But we have a whole bunch of new family members all of a sudden. But hey, I guess we'll save that for later on in the show, right?
Yep. Say that later.
That was episode 7 with Counselor Chico. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to part 1 of this episode with Counselor Chico. Shortly, we'll be releasing part 2 to Counselor Chico. Make sure that you subscribe to wherever you subscribe to all your podcasting, and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Marty Manziel, as we'll be releasing video footage for the upcoming episodes. Thank y'all for tuning in, and be tuned in for part 2. Peace.